Hi, my name is K. Kenneth Davis, and I am the trans capitalist today. So the first video I wanted to start off, which is probably one of the most vulnerable and harder stories for me that I don't mention or say a lot, but has done a lot of damage and it's like a turning point and a very important milestone within my life, and that is my coming out story. And this is not like no regular, yeah, a little bit nervous and all these things, and I'm coming out and I was like, oh yeah, great, because of course you see before you that I did transition and went through with it. But to get to the point that I am now, it has been a very difficult journey. So I'm going to do it in 3 parts. So here we go. Alright, so let's begin. Okay, so by this time I am definitely in finishing up my freshman year of college, but the thing is I've been living a double life ever since high school. So around high school I knew that I was different, I was gay, I was attracted to women, loved women, had lots of girlfriends, did not mind, but the man that stands before you, and just to give you a little background on my family, is that of course I am a black male. I do have a black church-going Christian mother, everything. Like, I wouldn't say Bible thumper, but she definitely goes and still goes today to church every Sunday, faithfully, believes in all of that stuff, right? But then also, I want you to know about my mother is that she always wanted a daughter. I mean, like, that was her dream since she was a little girl. Like, she wanted to be married, she wanted a son, she wanted a daughter, she wanted to be happily husband, dad, all these other things, right? But lo and behold, my parents are not together. They've been divorced since I was 3, I believe. Like, I don't remember my dad being around or in my picture that much. Like, I knew who he is. He would come around and all these things, but like, heavy disconnect. So anyway, so think of this woman, biggest dream, have a daughter, like she would say, walking down the aisle, discussing boys and all these things, and obviously that is not what God signed her up for, or me. So anyways, that's why I always lived a double life, because especially growing up too, my mom and like my family too would say like a lot of homophobic slurs, like, oh, that faggot, that's gay, I can't believe that, like, that's not a man, that's not right. Like, all those black homophobic things, I grew up with that. So of course, figuring out that I was gay and I was different, I panicked like a mug. Like, seriously, like, people and parents don't understand. Like, I even tried to pray the gay away before that, because I knew if I was to ever come out, I would be facing a whole lot of hell. But regardless, like, you can't mask who you are, and it's always going to show who you be. So anyway, I'm a smart kid. I figured out, hey, like, when I get to school, I would change my clothes, hang out with my friends, they all knew what's up, and then on top of that, I would like to say my mother's crazy too. Like, if you cross her, you gonna catch it. You step out of line, quick with that belt, quick with that yelling. Like, her bark is bigger than her bite. Everybody knows. And mind you, my mom is the baby of her sisters, and they're all scared of her. So I had to grow up with that. And she's a teacher, so she knows the whole school things. Like, education was always important. I will give her that. But regardless, like, this would be a scary woman if you did not go according to her plan. And it would be your ass if you stepped out of line. So damn sure me being gay, nah. I lived that double life faithfully and very carefully. But regardless, that's when I also want to say that's when I saw that college was definitely my out. And to get from out under her house and her rules and everything. So as soon as senior year came, man, I was gone. Farthest school I can go. But regardless, back to the story. So my cousin and I, very close, and this was around 2007, because it was her graduation, her high school graduation, because we went to the same high school. And basically I came back, and I was with my boy. I'll change his name. His name is Mike, just for the story. He's never been to New York. I would say he's a low eastern side southern dude, so he never been in the city. I was like, of course, come down, hang out with me, stay at my house. We were on, I believe, I think school was just ending. Yeah, so school ended because of course she's graduating in June whatsoever. So anyway, back to the main point of the story. We're coming down, and usually when I come down and visit, I hated it, but I would change clothes and had to go with the whole smile and all these other things, even though I was miserable, effing miserable. I could not wait till breaks would go back to school. But of course, if I was to ever live my truth, I would have to face that wrath, and who knows what would happen. Of course, we all know it's a black family. Most likely, my chances were high of being kicked out, disowned, cut off, all these things. So it's my cousin's graduation, and I'm like, me and Mike, we were running late. So anyway, and this is when cell phones were just new, but the graduation was held in the basement. So of course, when we go into the graduation, I have no service in my phone. But then that day, I did not know that my grandma and my aunt were coming over to the house, because my grandma like gardening and like doing all these things. My aunt was with her, but then somehow they locked themselves out the house, right? So my mom has the key, and of course I have the key. But my mom, it's the end of school year. She's a teacher. She loves her happy hour. She loved to drink and like chill out and do all these things, right? So it's like, God forbid, you have to pull her away from that. But regardless, of course they're trying to call me, but I'm not picking up. I have no service. I'm enjoying the graduation, whatever, right? So anyway, come back, and then when the graduation's done, as soon as I reach that surface where I get service again, I have like 10, 15, 20 missed calls, voicemails, and everything. And my mom is notorious for leaving voicemails. Like, I'm still scared today to answer voicemails because of this woman. So anyway, of course, I'm just like, oh, damn, like what happened? I see like missed calls from my mom, everything. As soon as I open that voicemail, my phone is here. All you hear is, where are you? Why are you not picking up your phone? You better answer me right now. What the fuck are you doing? Blah, blah, like going crazy. So then me and Mike is like, damn. And I like, once I knew that she was in that mode, you have two things to do. You either run, or you better answer her, or she gonna come after you, right? So I'm just like, damn. Had to hug my cousin. Me and Mike, we had to leave. And mind you, so Mike is in shock, because he never ever heard a mother or a woman act like this. And Mike is black too. So we're leaving, and as soon as we pull up, she is there, and she is pacing back and forth like some bull. Like, I just call it the beast. And mind you, she's like liquored up, and she always had this temper and like temper tantrums and all these things. So I roll up, and I'm just like, fuck. But what I forgot, because I was in such a panic and in a rush, I forgot to change my clothes. Yes. So mind you, I am in full boy man gear. And I mean you, like, since it's 2007, that's when like all the jersey jackets came out. And I was a huge SpongeBob fan, so I had like the black and yellow Jordans, the number ones, that matched, and like my black jeans. I had like the do-rag. I had the jersey racer jacket. Like, I was on point. Regardless of that, I was on point. I was on fire. But then it didn't hit me until that when she finally saw my car roll up, that she stopped and was like, made that face like, what? And I was like, oh. I was just like, still thinking she's mad. And then, of course, she's like, what the f are you? And like, literally yanks me out of the car. What is this? You think you're a boy now? And then she starts throwing punches, right? And blows, because she's just so angry. Like, no, you're a girl, you're a woman. Like, what is this? You're not supposed to be wearing this. All these things. Mind you, I still have Mike. And Mike is in the car like just, oh shit. And then, mind you, my grandma and my aunt are outside and they see this. Mind you, this is happening outside in the street, and then this kind of like everybody knows everybody, but she's very loud, so people start looking out the window, all these things. And then it's even to the point that my grandma and my aunt are just in shock. And remember, like I said, she's a baby, everybody's scared of her, so they don't even do nothing to help me. So I'm just here like blowing, taking these punches, and then she's escorting me in the car. So then my grandma and my aunt decide to like leave, like, oh, sorry, we gotta go. So I'm just like, what? And then mind you, I try to stop my mom and be like, yo, you're making a scene, and Mike's here and all these things. She's like, I don't give a fuck about Mike, and he like don't even think he's staying here, even though she gave me permission to bring him home and let him stay. But of course, with black mothers, that is all out the window. So I gotta try again. So then I'm like, all right, damn. And mind you, that night too, I was supposed to meet up with some friends and introduce them to my high school friends, and we were gonna all hang out and chill, right? So I'm just thinking like, all right, whatever, I'll take this. And I was like, let me get away as an escape route and be like, all right, then let me drop off Mike to meet up with my friends and then come back. And then she's like, oh no, what do you think? Because now we gotta drop off my grandmother's key, because since they left, and mind you, my grandmother lives in the Bronx, I'm in Yonkers, that's like it can be like a 20 to 30 minute drive. But regardless, I'm just like mad and upset, because then she hops in the car and then she's like, oh no, you thought you were going out, but your night ruined. She's like, since my night was ruined, your night's ruined too. Black moms, thanks. But anyway, so then we're all hopping in the car, and then I'm just like texting my boy Vincent. He's a great dude. And then I told him like, yo, it's like a level 1, because he's seen my mom in action before being mad and stuff like this. So he's like, yo, I got you, I'll take care of him. And that's great. So as we're driving, we drive to meet up my friends and all these things, and then they pull up. And then it's like they already know. So like, you know, like your head's, it's like, you know when you get embarrassed in front of your friends by your parent, and all your friends are just like kicking their rocks like, damn, like, oh. But then they know it's bad, because they finally found out that like basically I'm gay, and that I love male clothing, that I'm at that point a butch lesbian, all these things. So they know it's like worse than it's just me getting in trouble for like coming home late or whatsoever. But then what I didn't know is that as I'm trying to like drop off Mike and say what up to him, my mom rolls down the window, and then it's like, you see this? You guys accept this shit? Like, you're not bullying her? How can you be her friend? Y'all really like this? If this was my day, like, they'll be bullying all these things. Like, really thrashing my friends for loving and accepting me for me being who I am. All of that happened. So then, of course, they're quiet. Nobody say nothing. And then Mike is in the back. I tell him like, all right, I'll just look at him later. Like, I'll meet up with you, connect with you later, hopefully. And Mike is like scared shitless to even leave me alone in the car. But it's like I just gave him that nod, like, yo, I'll be alright, B. Like, don't worry about me. Just take care of yourself. And if I can meet up with you, I'll meet up with you again. And it's just like that head nod, like, alright, man, I'll holler. And then he just like leaves and shakes his head, and then he dips. And then Vincent, of course, gets me. I look like, stay up, bruh. Like, we'll hit you up later. Right? So now I'm like scared shitless, because at this point in time, it is now literally just me and her. There's nobody else to kind of buffer or stop like the wrath and the thrashing that I'm getting for basically being outed. This angry, crazy, church-going woman who is my mother that I love dearly, but at this point, I don't even know who this woman is. I just call her the Beast. So basically, had to drop off the key to my grandmother. Through all these times, she is cussing me out, beating me, punching me, yelling, mumbling under her breath, upset. And I'm taking all of these things while I'm still driving. And I'm just like so angry. Like, just tears are coming down my eyes. And now she like yanks me out again. And now we're in the house. And as we're walking in the house, she's like punching me in my back, punching me in my rib cage, pushing me. And then like there's this chair in the living room, so I just finally sit down there because I'm just like so tired, emotionally, everything. And then as she's still like hitting me and punching me and all these things, just saying like, I don't want no faggots in my house. Don't think you're staying here if you're going to be a faggot. Don't think I'm going to be supporting you and doing all these things. I don't want, like, don't bring that gay shit over here. F this, like, none of this other crap. Like, all these other, like, hateful, bashful, like, homophobic slurs while, like, getting thrown punches. And I'm just sitting there taking them. But then the point is, like, I just get to a point where I literally, like, kind of, like, had a, like, I zoned out. Like, I had a outer body experience, I would say. Just reviewing, like, my life and seeing, like, how all this accumulated for me being gay. Like, mind you, before I'll give you a little background story, like, was a good kid. I never stepped out of line. I always followed the rules. I was on high honor roll, very smart, getting A's. Like, I have an older brother. Like, he would be like the Bart Simpson. He would be doing crazy antics. All these things. But just for me being something of who I am, that a part that I couldn't wish away, gay away, it's just essential part of who I am that I was still exploring at that time. I'm getting all of this. Like, it's like I fell from grace within her eyes. And even though my brother does, like, all these crazy things, like, he, like, levitated up. That's all the story. But anyway, like, and I'm still being beaten, talked all this crap. Like, just, you're worthless, you're never going to be nothing. You know, like, gay people aren't accepted. Like, all these things, like, you're not going to make it. All these things. I'm so angry. And at that moment, I said, you know what? Me and this woman is done. I don't know who she is, but I don't expect any love or support from her. Usually with her temper tantrums, like, they only stop until she tires herself out. So finally she, like, went to bed, and I'm just left over there, like, angry, upset, tearing, holding myself, and just limping back to my car. And I'll never forget this moment that, sorry, like, all this stuff still, like, brings up things within me, anger and all these things, but I will say this is one of the most defining moments in my life. I am holding my rib cage, I am leaning up against my car, and I remember the moon was out, and I looked up and I said, I swear to God that I will make it on my own, and I will come back and I will prove to everybody that I will be a success, that they will love me, and that they will accept me and be mad that they messed up, that they counted me out the game, because I refuse to lose. I refuse to fall to the statistics that LGBT people will never make it, that will always be poor, that will always be on our own. Nah, not me, not K. Kenneth Davis, and I still carry that motto, that mantra, everything today within me. That is my driving force of what keeps me going, of what's making me in my own business, which makes me financially set, which makes me know that I'm clear, focused, and proving to everybody in the world that you can transition, or you can even be gay and you will still have a great life. Do not let anybody tell you otherwise. I swear to that. So, and then after that, I called Mike, and he was still at Vincent's, and then I met up with him, and then at that point, Mike and I just became closer, because after he already knew what's up, and I told him, like, hey, once we go back to school, it's a whole new ball game, and it's just me and myself. And he was like, yo, I got you, anybody else, I got you, and all these things. So I'm in college, and I have to make that decision within my life of either I can just drop out, give up, and everything. Because mind you, my mom, she can have her crazy moments, but she was a very good mother in providing. Like, she did everything, took care of everything, like, of course, doing all doctor moments, all these things. And also remember, I do have sickle cell anemia, so that's another huge thing that's weighing in my head as well. But she did all those things, right? But now all that is gone, snatched away. I have nothing no more. The life that I knew and that I was used to was gone, snatched up under me, and I knew it would never be the same from that moment on. So it was really, truly, like I said, making this decision of either giving up, going back, crawling back in for forgiveness and all these other things, or lying and saying it's just a phase and suffocating myself, or take the hardest road that's before me. but knowing that I will be free, I will live on my own terms. I don't have to answer to nobody. And if I've survived that, I know that I can do anything I want within my life. And I don't have to answer to nobody. So, of course, if you see me before you today, you understand that I did make it. I did transition. And then also to let you guys know that my mother and I are actually in a very good place. She calls me her son. She says she has 2 sons. She's very accepting. She's advocating. Of course, we had to hash it out and get there. Those will definitely be other videos I will be doing for you to let you know how I handled that situation. Because just remember that at some points you're going to have to do some things alone and by yourself. But if you stick true to your guns, your morals, and establish who you are as a person, people will respect that. And if not, you make them respect that. And I had to do all those things with the beast, the mother I love, and everything, but it worked. And especially even with my dad too. Now both of my parents are trying to work their way back into my life, and now it's really up to me deciding what relationship I want. But they have been apologizing a lot and all these other things. So of course I'm going to share all those things with you. But that was my coming out story. And mind you, that was just coming out as a butch lesbian. Now the next story of coming out trans is a whole other ball game too, and a whole other difficult road that I had to overcome as well. But thank you for listening. Of course, if you have any questions, you can email me at mr.transcapitalist@gmail.com. Make sure to follow all my other social media platforms. I am on YouTube, I am on Instagram, I am on Twitter, and I have a Facebook group.